The day I met Ethan, the rain was relentless. It wasn't the gentle drizzle that invited you to take slow walks under cloudy skies. It was the kind that came in sheets, turning sidewalks into rivers and muting the colors of the town into shades of gray. I had just locked up the community library for the day, clutching my umbrella against the wind that kept trying to turn it inside out. I was half running to the bus stop when I saw him. He was hard to miss, sitting alone on the bench, rain soaking through his clothes, a battered duffel bag slouched at his feet. He had that look, the one you recognize instantly if you've ever been lost, alone, or completely worn down by life. I should have kept walking. I didn't know him. I had a bus to catch. But something about the way he sat there, unmoving, as if the rain didn't matter anymore, made me stop. "Hey," I called, raising my voice over the rain. "You want to share an umbrella until the bus comes?" He looked up slowly, his dark hair plastered to his forehead. "Are you sure? I'm completely drenched." "It's just water," I said, shifting my umbrella to make space. "Come on before you get sick." He hesitated, then stood and stepped under the cover beside me. He was taller than I expected, and I had to angle the umbrella awkwardly to keep both of us dry. We stood like that for a while, the rain drumming above us. When the bus finally pulled up, he fished in his pocket and froze. His expression gave him away. He didn't have the fare. "Here," I said quickly, swiping my card before he could protest. He began, but I cut him off with a smile. "It's just a bus ride. Don't make it weird." That was the first time I saw him smile, small, hesitant, but real. "Thanks. I'm Ethan, by the way." "I'm Claire," I replied. We didn't talk much on the ride. He got off a few stops before mine, and I figured that was the end of it. 2 days later, I spotted him again outside the grocery store. He was studying the help wanted board with the focus of someone looking for more than just a paycheck, looking for a lifeline. "You again," I said, walking up beside him. He turned, a flicker of surprise crossing his face before he grinned. "Starting to think you're following me. Or maybe you're following me," I teased. We talked for a bit, and I learned that he'd just moved to town. No family here, no close friends. He was staying in a small rented room at the edge of the city, trying to stretch every dollar. That night, I sent him a text with a job posting at the library cafe. "They're hiring," I wrote. "Tell them Claire sent you." He got the job. And that's how it started. Helping him became almost instinctive. I helped him polish his resume, showed him around town, even invited him to a volunteer cleanup event at the park. We worked side by side that Saturday morning, raking leaves and hauling trash bags. At one point, he cracked a joke about how we looked like contestants in some reality show about the least glamorous jobs, and I laughed harder than I had in weeks. That was when I started noticing the little things, how he held doors open for strangers, how he remembered my coffee order without asking, how he listened, really listened, when I spoke. I told myself I was just being a good friend. But deep down, I knew I was looking forward to seeing him more than I should. One chilly evening, he called. "Can you meet me at the park? I just need to talk to someone." When I got there, the street lamps were casting golden halos over the pathways. He was sitting on a bench, hands clasped tightly. "They're raising the rent where I'm staying," he said quietly. "I can't afford it." My heart sank. I wanted to tell him he could stay with me, but the words stuck in my throat. It felt too soon, too much. "We'll figure something out," I said instead. He looked up at me. "You always say we." "That's because you're not alone," I replied. From that night on, we saw each other almost every day. We worked together, had lunch breaks together, sometimes even did grocery runs together. It became easy, natural. And then came the night of the storm. The rain was pounding so hard you could barely see the road. I knew Ethan would be working late, so I packed some food and went to meet him. He came out of the cafe looking exhausted, but when he saw me standing there under my umbrella, his whole face softened. "You didn't have to," he said, taking the bag from my hands. "I wanted to," I answered simply. We found shelter under the awning of the closed bookstore and ate right there, listening to the rain. At one point, he set his food down and said quietly, "You've changed my life. I came here with nothing. Now I have a job, friends, and you. You've been my anchor. Something shifted in me then. All the careful lines I'd drawn, they blurred in that moment. You've changed mine too, I whispered. We didn't rush anything after that. There was no dramatic confession or whirlwind romance. Instead, there was an unspoken understanding. A closeness that didn't need to be labeled. Helping Ethan had started as a simple act of kindness. But somewhere along the way, I'd lost control. Not in a reckless way, but in the way your heart sometimes decides for you. And for once in my life, I was okay with that.